or something like that. And so it like immediately after having the largest drop it's ever had in the history of his existence, it went up to the third highest spike it's ever had. So it's definitely been up. Well, I mean, it's all just going up and down based on the plan. So the plan fails, everyone bails out. They say, well, we're going to make a new plan. Everyone buys in. Then the plan fails, and they're going to bail out again. And they're gonna, it's just sort of, I don't know. It just shows how many of this, how much stock. This is, why I would say never invest in individual companies or trust stock or trust other people with your money. Just because so much of it is just kind of gambling. Just like you have a better chance than in Vegas. Just the day traders, going in and really, it's like. Oh my God, it did work. Gambling. Pull everything out now. Oh, it did work. Put everything in. And it's none of this, it's just showing how reactionary and running the banks, the whole, all the Wall Street brokers are. Yeah. Anyway, that's my commentary on that.
No, I think that's an absolutely legitimate opinion. It's pretty close to mine.
Because I often give illegitimate opinion. I'm not going to be their father no matter what.
Yeah. You know that they're voting early right now in Ohio?
Yeah, I did hear that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, they're letting people vote today, starting today.
Who's winning?
Who's winning? I don't know. I think this early voting stuff. I mean, they say that it doesn't really affect too much, so like people shouldn't get worried about it. But it just kind of screams voter fraud to me. Like, these same people that are voting today, how many are going to show up again on on Thursday? November. So it just that bothers me a little bit, and it's not one side or another. It's just the whole thing seems really, really iffy to me.
Yeah.
Especially they're accepting absentee votes right now. They're counting them. Like I don't know. The whole thing screams farce to me. So
farcical.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. Other than that, let's see. Trying to look and see if there's any other things popping out. Besides Thursday's debate. Nothing else really. I can see that's really other than McCain says Obama policies will deepen recession. Obama says bank deposit insurance should be raised. Usual shit. So let's see. I don't know. Biden. Oh wait. Dems see pros and cons of letting Biden be Biden, which is what we were saying before. How he puts his foot in his mouth a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he doesn't put his foot in his mouth, and he should.
But yeah. Yeah. So he's Clinton's pissed because Biden's getting a pass for saying that he was shot at in Iraq. When she said that, the news was all over it, saying that it never happened. The same thing with Biden. He wasn't really shot at.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at
I think with Biden, it's just interesting because it's like he has been doing this for 35 years, and he's like notorious for doing these gaffes. So it's just sort of like, oh yeah, well that's just Joe Biden doing this again. Whereas when Palin does it or Clinton does it, it's like, oh my God, what are they doing? But Joe Biden's like, oh, there goes Joe saying that Roosevelt went on TV after the Great Depression.
It's true.
So, yeah, that definitely is a double standard. I don't know if it's a sexist thing as much as just a Joe Biden thing, just because he's so well known. It's just so, everybody just knows him for his gaffes.
It's funny you say that because
I think it's a Biden thing.
What?
I think it's a Biden thing.
Yeah, I mean that's what some conservative talk show hosts have been getting pissed about. With that people are just letting it go, going, "Oh, it's just old Joe," saying whatever comes to his mind.
Hey, you know what? They weren't complaining when the Democrats were complaining that he wasn't getting any attention over Palin.
What was that?
I said nobody was complaining about Biden not getting attention when he wasn't getting attention over Palin.
Yeah.
Right. So, I don't know. Palin's on her last leg, I think, right now. So we're gonna have to see how things are going. I mean, a lot of it seems, in some respects, like the McCain camp is calling out it's gotcha journalism, where they keep dragging on a point and then they keep going into more specific and more specific and more specific. I kind of understand, but at the same time, if you're running for a VP, you should at least know
Yeah.
some record.
Well, I think you also have to understand. I think the function of journalism is that the journalist, in its inherent form, isn't necessarily meant to only tell you the important facts. It's to discover new information that was not known before.
Right.
It's to find the truth and the whole truth. So you go and you dig and find up facts that, while might not be important, have been unexposed or not true yet. So that's why they come to light. That's basically that's the inherent function of journalism, is just kind of getting all that stuff out. Which I think, I think people take it to extremes, obviously, but I think that's what we kind of see these days.
No, well, yeah. I mean, what I was going to say though was, with that, I mean, like I said, she's running. If she's going to come out to say that he's a big reformer, which he is, she should be able to come out and say something. You know what I mean? When asked by Kira, you know, well, what do you mean by that? You know, at least give one example of how he's been a maverick, how he's been a reformer. So, I don't know. I understand where they're coming from when they say that they're doing gotcha journalism, but at the same time, I think she should know at least those lines.
Right.
So, I don't know. It's kind of,
or they should at least tell her.
Yeah. Well, actually, she went up
for
the information. Yeah, when she went for the follow-up interview, she had McCain with her. So.
Yeah, that's right. He was like chaperoning her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
So, that just shows. I mean, she doesn't really have the experience that's needed. I mean, it's very apparent. She hasn't been out in actual.
But we're not voting for her. We're voting for McCain.
No. I know that.
But we're also voting for her. I mean, I don't know. The potential for either candidate, you know, McCain because he's old, Obama potentially because some nutcase might try to shoot him. The potential for the Veeps this time around, I feel, is a little bit more important than usual.
No, I mean, I don't think you can vote based on the Veep pick, though. I think you still. I
don't think you should vote based on it, but I think it warrants more consideration this time around than usual.
Yeah, but I would still go based on the policy, because you have to figure. Even if they do,
it's policy. Because it's definitely policy that you're voting for. Because, you know,
I mean the policy of the main candidate, because you have to figure what if the candidate gets in and puts things on to play. If they did kick the bucket and the Beeps took over, the people are going to put in place their advisor basically going to be also advising the vice president.
Well, I'm not saying to vote for the vice president and just make that the primary person you're voting for. I'm just saying that I almost feel like it warrants slightly more consideration this time than it did last time. And, you know, either way, I feel like Biden is a stronger candidate than Palin is, certainly, and I personally feel that Obama's a stronger candidate than McCain right now. So for me, it doesn't really make much of a difference, but I do think it warrants slightly more consideration than usual, but it's certainly not overshadowing the presidential spot.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't hammer this home anymore. I mean, I'm really waiting for this next debate for the VP to really show if I can support at all a McCain-Palin ticket. So, because right now I'm leaning for Obama, but
really.
Yeah, I told you this, dude. Why do you keep saying that?
You didn't tell me that. Last night you told me you're leaning towards McCain.
No, I did.
I don't think you've actually told me anything ever.
Okay, well.
well, now I know.
Okay, well, it's funny because my other friend was like, "Well, you didn't say that like 5 months ago." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right, but things change." So I don't know. Well, again, I like the conservative Republican philosophy, but as of right now, I would not mind seeing Obama be the next president. So.
I think people need to realize that even though you're voting for someone, doesn't mean that if they do get in the office and fuck up, you can't complain about it.
Oh yeah, well,
and protest it.
No, that's the thing. That's the thing that bothers me the most, and I did it tons of times before. You know, whatever side you're on, your side will do no wrong. You know what I mean? And I've gotten over that. I can't really say much about some people I know, but it's very infuriating hearing someone say that. Well,